Well, if you ever tried to sell your home before, you know that it can be rewarding, but it takes a lot of work.
Not only the work that you have to do on the home itself, but the work of finding who will help you sell it.
Yeah, we're getting some insight this morning from Realtor Trumm of Keller Williams Realty. Good to see you, Troy.
Welcome
Thanks
back.
for coming in.
Great.
Good to see you.
Listen, you got a lot of tips, and it's that time of year. A lot of people are putting their homes on the market. What kind of tips do you have for selecting the realtor?
Well, first, every homeowner should already have a realtor. You need a realtor to put you in touch with trusted contractors and to be there for your friends and family so the people you care about don't get stuck with an incompetent agent. So even people that don't plan on moving should have a realtor, and most importantly, have one to advise them of their home's value. You wouldn't invest in stocks and then not periodically check the value of those stocks. A home is most people's most valuable asset, so it's important to keep track of the value of that home. Now, for people who don't already have a realtor, finding a realtor, first thing you need to look at selecting a realtor separately from determining the asking price. Many agents will promise sellers unrealistic prices in order to convince sellers to hire them, but the decision on who to hire should be made separately. You should find the agent based on their skill and marketing expertise and then determine an asking price.
And experience.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and then what about the home preparation process? I mean, how do you get the home ready to go on market?
Well, my preparation process first starts with professional home staging. The purpose of staging is to showcase the highlights and features of the home and at the same time create an atmosphere where buyers can imagine the home as their own. The next is to have the home pre-inspected. The goal of pre-inspection is to find and address problems with the home so they don't come up in the buyer's inspection, giving the buyer leverage to negotiate against the seller or giving the buyer the reason for backing out of the purchase. And then finally is professional photography. Once the home is ready and looking its best, it's important to capture that in photos to use for marketing of the home.
Yeah, so you go through all this stuff, then you finally get somebody who's ready to sign on the dotted line, buy the house, right? You get an offer, and then you accept that offer. What should you expect after accepting that offer?
Well, the two most significant events that happen after accepting an offer are first the home inspection and then the appraisal. The home inspection gives the buyer an assessment of the property's condition, including all its structural and mechanical components, and gives the buyer an opportunity to request repairs or opt out of the purchase. And the appraisal protects the buyer and lender from overpaying for a home. If a home doesn't appraise for the purchase price, the buyer can renegotiate the price with the seller, or if they'd like, they can cancel the purchase and move on to another home.
Now, after all that's done, what about closing day? What happens then?
Well, on the closing day, the buyer's lender will wire money in the amount of the mortgage to the title company. The buyer will sign off paperwork finalizing their mortgage and taking title in their own name. And the title company will pay off the seller's mortgage, prorate the property taxes, and issue the seller a check for their proceeds.
Seems like a lot of work that goes into that, Troy. Are there any shortcuts out there to avoiding some of those steps? I mean, I'm sure there's people that are looking for shortcuts through this whole process.
Well, there are. You know, I have a list of buyers, dozens of buyers who are looking for homes, many of which will buy homes for cash with no contingencies and no inspections, and even let the seller select the closing date. So if there's somebody who's looking for selling their home, before they put it on the market, they should call me, because I may be able to sell it without ever putting it on the market, so they can avoid the hassle of showings and all the preparation.
Right.
That sounds like a good situation for both parties involved if their goals line up with each other.
Well, a lot of great advice this morning, always a lot of great advice. I mean, I don't have a home, but I've learned so much from you over the last few months, so thank you so much for coming in. And if you would like to get a hold of Troy Trumm with the Trumm team, you can call 402-884-4848 or check out trummteam.com.
Troy, it's been a pleasure having you on the show,
has,
our expert
Great being
go-to
here.
realtor. Any questions we had about buying or selling homes, you were there for the answer, so we appreciate your time.
Sure.
And if I do stay in Omaha and get a home someday, I'll give you a call.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
I appreciate it. Well, yard game.